Hello everyone, welcome to Current Affairs for Beginners. Let's start our today's session. Before starting our session, first we'll see answers for the questions from our previous video. The first question is, consider the following statements. Prepaid payment instrument sector is regulated by Securities Exchange Board of India. This statement is wrong because it is regulated by the Reserve Bank of India, not SEBI. A non-banking financial company can issue only closed and semi-closed system instruments. This statement is correct because it cannot issue open system instruments. So as the second statement is wrong and only one is correct, the answer here is A. The next question is, with reference to anti-dumping duty, select the correct statements from below. Here, the answer for this question is C. It is a trade levy imposed by any government on imported products which have prices less than their fair normal values in their domestic market. Anti-dumping duty will be imposed when a country that is exporting its products to a country, if it sells its products at the price that is lower than in its domestic country, then this anti-dumping duty will be imposed on that exporting country in order to protect the domestic industry of the importing country. Whereas statement 1, this refers to countervailing duty. Here the foreign country, whichever is exporting the goods, will give subsidies to the exports. The second statement refers to safeguard duty. Here, a country will impose this safeguard duty if it is importing any product in a large quantities that will affect its domestic industry. Then that country will impose this safeguard duty. Our first article is Odisha villages tense after big cat kills man. This article comes under GS paper 3 under the topic of environment. Though this article is not of much importance for our exam, but from this article, here we can learn about two tiger reserves and their location. One is Satkosha Tiger Reserve that is located in Odisha, and the other one is Bandhavgarh Tiger Reserve that is located in Madhya Pradesh. As India is home to 70% of the tiger population in the world, in order to conserve these tigers in their own habitats, that is in their natural habitats, these tiger reserves were created because they were considered as the ideal places to conserve the tiger population in their natural habitats. So, to govern these tiger reserves, government has created a project called as Project Tiger in 1973 in order to save these endangered species of tigers in the country. This Project Tiger is administered by the National Tiger Conservation Authority. Here we can see various tiger reserves in the country. There are total 50 tiger reserves in our India. So whenever any tiger reserve appears in the paper, just note it down along with its location. This will be helpful for our prelims. Our next article is Government extends GST Form 3B return filing deadline to October 25th. This article comes under GS paper 3 under the topic of economy. From this article here we are going to see about a term called as input tax credit. What is meant by this input tax credit? We can understand the meaning of this input tax credit easily by taking these words, input and tax credit. Input means these are the materials or services that a manufacturer will purchase in order to manufacture his product or services, which is his output. Whereas tax credit, it means tax a producer will be able to reduce while paying his tax on his output. So together, this input tax credit means that when a manufacturer pays the tax on his output, he can deduct the tax he previously paid on the input he purchased. So while paying the tax on his output, he can deduct or take the credit for the tax he already paid while purchasing inputs. We can easily understand this with an example. Let us take a shirt manufacturer. Let it be a cotton shirt. So the manufacturer, in order to manufacture this shirt, he needs input, which is cotton. So let us say that he had purchased his input at the cost of 100 rupees, and the tax, he has to pay the tax. So it is the central GST. The rate of this GST is 10%. So he will pay, along with the cost of this cotton, he will have to pay the tax. That is 10% means 10 rupees. So he will pay total 110 rupees to buy his inputs. Now the manufacturer will add value to this cotton and he will prepare this shirt. Finally, he wants to sell his output at the cost of 200 rupees plus tax. That means he purchased it at the cost of 100 rupees and he added a value of 100 rupees to this. So let us say that if the tax rate is 12%, GST rate is 12%, that means he must pay a tax of 24 rupees. So the cost of this shirt will be 224 rupees. 200 plus tax 24 rupees, 224. But this manufacturer has already paid a tax of 10 rupees on this 100 rupees while buying his inputs. So now he can claim this 10 rupees which he has already paid as tax while purchasing his input, and he has to pay only remaining 14 rupees out of this total 24 rupees tax. This 10 rupees which the manufacturer will claim is the input tax credit. Our next article is Air Purifier makes I increases in sale as pollution levels worsen. This article comes under GS paper 3 under the topic of environment. From this article here we are going to see about two things. One is air quality index, the other one is Central Pollution Control Board. What is this air quality index? In an attempt to make air quality measurement easier to understand, the Ministry of Environment and Forest has launched a National Air Quality Index. This index will bring out the real-time data about the level of pollutants that were present in air, and this will inform people about the possible impacts on health. This index is part of government's Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. It is an extension to the various initiatives under this Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. This index will measure 8 major pollutants in the air. Those are particulate matter of 10 and particulate matter 2.5, nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide, ozone, carbon monoxide, ammonia and lead. These are the 8 pollutants which this National Air Quality Index will measure. This index has classified the air quality into 6 categories, that is good, satisfactory, moderately polluted, poor, very poor and severe. Each category is represented by a color code in order to visually express the level of severity that people can easily understand. In our notes today, based on each category, what are the associated health impacts were detailedly given. Please check it. The next one is Central Pollution Control Board. The Central Pollution Control Board of India is a statutory organization under the Ministry of Environment and Forests. It is this CPCB, along with the IIT Kanpur and expert group comprising of various medical air quality professionals, has developed this Air Quality Index. This body was established in 1974 under Water Act, Prevention and Control of Water Pollution Act of 1974. Now, this body was also entrusted with powers and functions under Air Act, that is Prevention of Air Pollution and Control of Air Pollution Act of 1981. So what does this body do? This CPCB is responsible for promoting cleanliness of streams and wells in different areas of states by adopting various measures to prevent, control and reduce this water pollution. And it is responsible for improving the quality of air and to prevent, control and reduce air pollution in this country. This organization is responsible for coordinating the activities of various state pollution control boards, and it will resolve the disputes that arise among them. The CPCB, and by consulting the concerned state government, the CPCB will lay down the standards for stream or well and quality of air. It will lay down the standards for maintaining the streams or wells and quality of air. The next article is Time to Hew A New Antiquities Law. This article comes under GS Paper 1 under the topic of History. Under this article, here we are going to see about Archaeological Survey of India. First of all, what is meant by this archaeology? Archaeology is the study of human history and prehistory by excavating the sites of where our historians were located and by analyzing the materials and physical remains of our historians and prehistorians. This Archaeological Survey of India was initially established by Alexander Cunningham in 1861 in order to do archaeological researches and to protect the cultural heritage of the country. The main objective of this Archaeological Survey of India is to maintain the archaeological sites, ancient monuments and remains that were having national importance. This body functions under the Union Ministry of Culture, and it will regulate all the archaeological activities as per the provisions of Ancient Monuments and Archaeological Sites and Remains Act of 1958, and it will also regulate Antiquities and Art Treasure Act of 1972. Our next article is Avoidable Tragedy. In this article, here we are going to see about National Disaster Management Authority. This comes under GS Paper 3 under the topic of Disaster Management. In 2005 of December, the Government of India has enacted an act called Disaster Management Act. Under this act, it has created two bodies. One is National Disaster Management Authority and the other one is National Disaster Response Force. This National Disaster Management Authority was created in order to build a safer and disaster resilient India by adopting various technology driven and sustainable development strategies involving all the stakeholders in order to develop a culture of prevention, preparedness and mitigation for any kind of disaster. This authority is an agency under Ministry of Home Affairs. This will coordinate responses for various natural and man-made disasters in the country. And this authority is also responsible for framing various policies and for laying guidelines and best practices and for coordinating the state disaster management authorities in order to ensure timely and effective response to the disasters. It is this agency which will even train various government officials, institutions and communities for mitigating and for responding during a disaster. And this agency operates an institute called as National Institute of Disaster Management. It is this institute which will develop various practices and organizes drills for disaster management. And this NDMA also collaborates with Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy of Administration and Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel National Police Academy in order to impart training to the administration and police officers, that is all the IAS and IPS officers, in planning and providing incident response. And this authority even monitors and develops guidelines for local firefighting services across the country. And it collaborates with the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare in order to develop emergency health and ambulance services. Along with all these functions, it will lay down various policies for disaster management. It will lay down the policies and guidelines for the functioning of this National Institute of Disaster Management. It will provide support to other countries that were affected by major disasters. And it will recommend the provision of funds for the purpose of mitigation. Like this, it has various other functions and responsibilities. Our next article is Rupee Fall. High NPAs a concern, says Jalan. What is this NPA? Non-performing assets. This article comes under GS paper 3 under the topic of economy. NPA is a loan or advance for which the principal or the interest payment remained overdue for a period of 90 days. We'll see this with an example. In one of our previous videos, we said that loan is an asset to the bank because it will give returns to the banks in the form of interest. So this loan is a kind of investment by the bank through which it will get returns in the form of interest. But what will happen if the bank was not able to generate returns from its investment? Then it is called as a non-performing asset. Suppose, let us take the State Bank of India has given a loan of 10 crore rupees to a company. Let it be a Reliance company with an agreement of 10% of interest rate per annum. Initially, this Reliance was able to pay this interest amount, but due to administrative or technical or some other reasons, this Reliance is not able to repay the interest rate for 90 days. In this case, we can say that this loan that was given to Reliance by SBI is a non-performing asset. The next one is, there is an article in the business paper from forest to premium brands. From this article, here we are going to see about minimum support price. What is meant by this minimum support price? This is the price at which government will purchase crop from farmers, whatever be the price at that time in the market. After harvest, in case if there is a fall in prices, then in order to help the farmers from incurring losses, the government has introduced this scheme called as minimum support price scheme. And this price will be announced by the government before the sowing season. Let us take paddy. For this paddy before sowing itself, government will announce a price called as minimum support price. This is the price at which government will buy the paddy from farmers. In case if the rate of this paddy is lower in the market than this minimum support price. These prices will be decided by the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs based on the recommendations of a committee called as Commission for Agricultural Costs and Prices, which is an expert body under the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare Practices. Now let's see our today's questions. The first one is, consider the following pairs. Match this tiger reserve and where it is located. Satkosha Tiger Reserve, Odisha. Bandhavgarh Tiger Reserve, Madhya Pradesh. The second question is, consider the following statements. The formulation of National Air Quality Index is an initiative under Swachh Bharat Mission. The Air Quality Index will consider pollutants, ammonia, lead, carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, ozone, nitrogen dioxide, particulate matters of 2.5 and 10. So try to answer these questions and post your answers in the comment box, and tomorrow we'll see detailed explanation for these questions. This is our Law Excellence website where you can access notes for this video. Thank you.